Good afternoon from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's 4:22 p.m. on the 30th of January 2024. I'm back to complete the Arabian Nights, the last chapter of the Arabian Nights, or it used to be called 1001 Tales of the Arabian Nights, but same thing really. So let us begin. The tale of Scheherazade concluded. At long last, we got there in the end, people of Earth. Mama T, aka the Tanya, aka the psychedelic dreamer, got there in the end. Took a fair bit of sitzfleisch and perseverance and soldiering on, including a multitude of segues, which some of them are quite interesting, if I say so myself. Keeps my life in review ad nauseum. Anyway, I was going to go and run amok and go somewhere and go swimming today, but I'm tired. I'm actually quite tired. I think I'm having a delayed reaction to the grief. It's like starting to. I don't feel too bad, but I just feel this great heaviness and weight on me. So I'm thinking about either going to the sea for a trip down to Jacob's Well on Sunday, or just going somewhere different near the sea and support my friends and alter egos. But I'll see how I feel Sunday morning. If I feel not quite right, I'll give it a miss. But I want to go, and I want to go to their other gig on the 23rd of February at the Alex Headlands Surf Club, which I think would be a lovely. I saw Ramjet play there, and I wanted to go there on New Year's Eve actually, but I was worried about driving home alone late at night after midnight with all the drunks on the road. But this gig at the end of February should be fine, because they'll be finished by, I presume they'll be finished by 8 or 10 p.m. at the latest, and should be home by midnight, so it won't be so bad. But anyway, something to look forward to and plan for and think about anyway, whether I actually go along and do it though, because on the day, if I don't feel well, it is what it is. But I'm going to start branching out and go to different things further afield, just opportunity to make new friends and meet new people, and be in different spaces from out of my comfort zone, and be in different places and spaces. And if I'm dancing for my friends, I at least have the security of knowing that there's people I know there, and not that they can socialise with me because they're performing, but I won't be totally alone, is what I'm saying. And it's time I branched out more and opened out to new potentiates, and lived my life even more joyously and rambunctiously and vivaciously than ever before. And just travelled a little bit, like an hour and a half away or 2 hours away is not so far, and not too expensive for petrol. It's doable. So anyway, let us continue with the tale of Scheherazade concluded. Now during this time, Scheherazade had borne the king 3 boy children. In all these stories, that's 3 years worth of stories. She had time to have 3 births and keep the stories up each night, so she didn't get her head chopped off. Would not have been happy giving birth to a man who wants to chop my head off. The things you do, people of Earth. Anyway, so when she had made An end of the story of Ali. She rose to her feet and, kissing ground before him, said, O King of the time, and unique one of the age and the tide, I am thine handmaid, and these 1,000 nights and a night have I entertained thee with stories of folk gone before, and admonitory instances of the men of yore. May I then make bold to crave a boon of thy highness? He replied, Ask, O Scheherazade, and it shall be granted to thee. Whereupon she cried out to the nurses and the eunuch, saying, Bring me my children. So they brought them to her in haste, and they were 3 boy children, 1 walking, 1 crawling, and 1 sucking. She took them, and setting them before the king, again kissed the ground and said, O King of the age, these are thy children, and I crave that thou release me from the doom of death as a dole to these infants. For, an thou kill me, they will become motherless, and I will find none among women to rear them as they should be reared. When the king heard this, he wept, and straining the boys to his bosom said, By Allah, O Scheherazade, I pardoned thee before the coming of these children, for that I found thee chaste, pure, ingenuous, and pious. Allah bless thee, and thy father, and thy mother, and thy root, and thy branch. I take the Almighty to witness against me that I exempt thee from aught that can harm thee. So she kissed his hands and feet, and rejoiced with exceeding joy, saying, The Lord make thy life long, and increase thee in dignity and majesty. Presently adding, Thou marvelest at that which befell thee on the part of women. Yet there betided the kings of the Chosroes before thee greater mishaps and more grievous than that which hath befallen thee. And indeed, I have set forth unto thee that which happened to caliphs and kings and others with their women. But the relation is longsome, and hearkening groweth tedious, and in this is all sufficient warning for the man of wits and admonishment for the wise. Then she ceased to speak, and when King Shahryar heard her speech, and profited by that which she said, he summoned up his reasoning powers, and cleansed his heart, and caused his understanding revert, and turned to Allah Almighty, and said to himself, Since there befell the kings of the Chosroes more than that which hath befallen me, never, whilst I live, Shall I cease to blame myself for the past? As for this Scheherazade, her like is not found in the lands. So praise be to him who appointed her a means for delivering his creatures from oppression and slaughter. Then he arose from his seance and kissed her head, whereat she rejoiced, she and her sister Dunyazad, with exceeding joy. When the morning morrowed, the king went forth, and sitting down on the throne of the kingship, summoned the lords of his land, whereupon the chamberlains and nabobs and captains of the host went into him and kissed ground before him. He distinguished the Wazir, Scheherazade's sire, with special favour, and bestowed on him a costly and splendid robe of honour, and entreated him with the utmost kindness, and said to him, Allah protect thee for that thou gavest me to wife thy noble daughter, who hath been the means of my repentance from slaying the daughters of folk. Indeed, I have found her pure and pious, chaste and ingenuous, and Allah hath vouchsafed me by her 3 boy children. Wherefore, praised be He for His passing favour. Then he bestowed robes of honour upon his wazirs and emirs and chief officers, and he set forth to them briefly that which had betided him with Scheherazade, and how he had turned from his former ways, and repented him of what he had done, and purposed to take the wazir's daughter, Scheherazade, to wife, and let draw up the marriage contract with her. When those who were present heard this, they kissed the ground before him, and blessed him and his betrothed, Scheherazade, and the wazir thanked her. Then Shahryar made an end of his sitting in all weal, whereupon the folk dispersed to their dwelling places, and the news was bruited abroad that the king purposed to marry the wazir's daughter, Scheherazade. Considering she'd given him 3 boys, it's kind of the least he could do after having her head on the chopping block that whole time. People of Earth. Oh, that sun's bright. Stabbing me in the eyeballs. Then he proceeded to make ready the wedding gear, and presently he sent after his brother, King Shah Zaman, who came, and King Shahryar went forth to meet him with the troops. Furthermore, they decorated the city after the goodliest fashion, and diffused scents from censers, and burnt aloes wood, and other perfumes in all the markets and thoroughfares, and rubbed themselves with saffron, what while the drums beat, and the flutes and pipes sounded, and mimes and mountebanks played and plied their arts, and the king lavished on them gifts and largesse, and, in very deed, it was a notable day. When they came to the palace, King Shahryar commanded to spread the tables with beasts roasted whole, and sweetmeats, and all manner of viands, and bade the crier cry to the folk that they should come up to the divan and eat and drink, and that this should be a means of reconciliation between him and them. So, high and low, great and small, came up unto him, and they abode on that wise, eating and drinking 7 days with their nights. Quite the party. Then the king shut himself up with his brother, and related to him that which had betided him with the wazir's daughter, Scheherazade, during the past 3 years, and told him what he had heard from her of proverbs and parables, chronicles and pleasantries, quips and jests, stories and anecdotes, dialogues and histories, and elegies and other verses. Whereat King Shah Zaman marvelled with the uttermost marvel, and said, Fain would I take her younger sister to wife, so we may be 2 brothers German to 2 sisters German, and they on likewise be sisters to us, for that the calamity which befell me was the cause of our discovering that which befell thee, and all this time of 3 years past I have taken no delight in woman, save that I lie each night with a damsel of my kingdom, and every morning I do her to death. But now I desire to marry thy wife's sister, Scheherazade. When King Shahryar heard his brother's words, he rejoiced with joy exceeding, and arising forthright, went in to his wife, Scheherazade, and acquainted her with that which his brother purposed, namely, that he sought her sister Scheherazade in wedlock. Wedlock. It's even in the word. A prisoner of someone's love, am I right? It's not so bad if you're locked in with a human that absolutely values, cherishes and adores you and is loyal and faithful, but if you're locked in with anything or anyone less than that, it's a hellscape without end, people of earth. Just saying. Ask me how I know. No, don't. I think you got the vibe. But anyway. Whereupon she answered, O King of the age, we seek of him one condition, to wit, that he take up his abode with us, for that I cannot brook to be parted from my sister an hour, because we were brought up together and may not endure separation each from other. It's going to make for a very weird marriage, isn't it? But Scheherazade is highly intelligent and knows her way around men. So we'll trust in her judgment, shall we? a woman to emulate in every way. If he accept this pact, she is his handmaid. I don't like that. A wife should be an equal in every way, not some fucking handmaid. Anyway, King Shahryar returned to his brother. Who's constantly buzzing me now? Driving me mad, my darlings. They're driving me mad. I don't know who that was. That's from 3 minutes ago. I think Instagram is just repeating things, like buzzing intermittently. It's driving me mad. Breathe, tiny arrows. Breathe. King Shahryar returned to his brother and acquainted him with that which Scheherazade had said, and he replied, Indeed, this is what was in my mind, for that I desire never more to be parted from thee 1 hour. As for the kingdom, Allah the Most High shall send to it whomso he chooseth, for that I have no longer a desire for the kingship. When King Shahryar heard his brother's words, he rejoiced exceedingly and said, Verily, this is what I wished, O my brother. So, Alhamdulillah, praised be Allah, who hath brought about union between us. Then he sent after the Qazis and Olema. I don't know what Olema are. Qazis are judges, I worked out, but Olema are what? What are they? Some kind of guards or police or je ne sais quoi, people of Earth. I have no idea. Captains and notables. And they married the 2 brothers to the 2 sisters. It's a lot of officials to preside over 2 weddings. The contracts. Contracts. That's why I'll never marry again, people of Earth. My contracts are of soul and spirit given freely with free will and deep, deep love. There'll be no signed, sealed and delivered and stamped, because it's just a fucking governmental scam. They get you. They get you when the divorce happens. They get you over and over again. It's like being SA'd multiple times by your own government, over and over again. Ask me how I know. Awful it was, beyond awful. But anyway, I digress. And it's a beautiful day. We should be thinking happy thoughts, enjoying the beauty and the real love that surrounds me, instead of ancient fucking histories dragged up by the word contract. Anyway, on we go. Deep breath. The contracts were written out. I kind of have to laugh. I had two wedding contracts, my civil and my Jewish one, and 2 divorces, my civil and my Jewish one. So technically I was married twice and divorced twice to the same man. It's a bit odd, isn't it? Wow. Having done that so superlatively, I was disinclined to ever repeat that ever again. Besides, I never found anyone worthy of me. Certainly my former husband was so not worthy of me, but I didn't really get confirmation of that till I was giving birth to our first child. what low-level entity he really was. So there is that. Talk about denial being a long river in Africa. Anyway, I should have left then and there, but I went on to give him a second child and stay another 7 years. It's just bizarre, people. Bizarre. I don't know what that was about, actually. Certainly wouldn't do that ever again. A man who doesn't really love me doesn't even get to sniff my aura. But that's not true, is it? Because I'm surrounded by men that don't really love me every fucking Friday night, or trying to do the sniff. I mean, you have to laugh. It's a bit funny. Anyway, never mind. The contracts were written out, and the two kings bestowed robes of honour of silk and satin on those who were present, whilst the city was decorated and the rejoicings were renewed. The king commanded each emir and wazir and chamberlain and nabob to decorate his palace, and the folk of the city were gladdened by the presage of happiness and contentment. King Shahryar also bade slaughter sheep and set up kitchens and made bride feasts and fed all comers high and low. And he gave alms to the poor and needy and extended his bounty to great and small. Then the eunuchs went forth that they might perfume the hammam for the brides. So they scented it with rose water and willow flower water. Willow flower. I wonder what that smells like. And pods of musk, and fumigated it with kakili, eaglewood, and ambergris. Then Scheherazade entered, she and her sister Dunyazad, and they cleansed their heads and clipped their hair. When they came forth of the hammam bath, they donned raiment and ornaments, such as men were wont prepare for the kings of the Chosroes. And among Scheherazade's apparel was a dress purfled with red gold and wrought with counterfeit presentments of birds and beasts. Sounds beautiful, doesn't it? Beautiful embroideries. And the two sisters encircled their necks with necklaces of jewels of price, in the like whereof Iskandar rejoiced not, for therein were great jewels, such as amazed the wit and dazzled the eye, and the imagination was bewildered at their charms. For indeed each of them was brighter than the sun and the moon. Try and envisage someone being so stunningly beautiful that they were considered brighter than the sun and the moon. Because the moon reflects the glory of the sun, you understand. But anyway, it's poetic license. Tanyala, Tanyala. You don't have to be so concrete, Tanyala. You don't have to take everything so literally, Tanyala. It's grinding your gears. Just learn to live in the abstract like your love life that is ever more abstract and like a melting clock on a Salvador Dali-esque painting. It's just slowly slipping away, and you'll watch it fall at your feet and disappear into an abyss somewhere, and you'll just be like, bye-bye, bye-bye. And you'll lift your head high and square your shoulders and push out those chocolate enhanced breasts. Put on your corset and get out there and dance and give no fucks and live your best life and drive every man in the club wild with anticipation. It's a bit sad, isn't it? Really, at my age. It's a bit fucking sad. But on the other hand, it's brought me back to life in full vivacity and joy and delight. And it's a bit sad, but it's not so bad. There's worse things that I could be doing with my time. Just saying. Can it get much worse? No. Can it get better? Always. Always, always. Upgrade your life, people of Earth. Suffer no fools or inclement tools. Live your best life. With harm to none and competition with none. So it is done. My beloved ones. It's very few men comprehend who I am, and that's okay. It's totally okay. There's only one man that's worthy of me at the moment. He's been a gentleman and kind. And I'm talking out in the club scene. So there is that. Anyway. Before them, they lighted brilliant flambeaux of wax and candelabra of gold, but their faces outshone the flambeaux, for that they had eyes sharper than unsheathed swords, and the lashes of their eyelids bewitched all hearts. Their cheeks were rosy red, and their necks and shapes gracefully swayed, and their eyes wantoned like the gazelles, and the slave girls came to meet them with instruments of music. Then the two kings entered the hammam bath, and when they came forth, they sat down on a couch set with pearls and gems. That would be awfully prickly on the tuchus, just saying. I mean, much as I love pearls and gems, I'm not sure I'd want to sit on them. Be like Fonzarelli in that Happy Days sitcom from when we were kids. Those of us that are my generation. I was born in 1965, so those of you in the 60s and 70s. I think that show came out in the late 70s, didn't it? What did Fonzarelli used to tell everyone? Sit on it. Sit on it. Wow, you wouldn't want to sit on a couch with pearls and gems. You wouldn't want to wear the pearls and gems after everyone had sat on them either. That's a creepy thought. I have to shake it off, people. I'm just going to do a little shake. Just don't mind me. Going to shake that one off. Maybe a primal scream. Right, I'm done now. I'm over it. The emotion has been expended. Let's carry on with the story. Oh, my hair looks great. Oh, completely gorgeous. Thank you, Kylie. Thank you, Kylie, for making me completely gorgeous for one day at last. One day, then it all reverts to hell. But anyway, I'm okay with that. It is what it is. I can be gorgeous for one day. Oh, sit on a couch with pearls and gems and dream my dream. Anyway, here we go. Whereupon the two sisters came up to them and stood between their hands as they were moons, bending and leaning from side to side in their beauty and loveliness. Presently, they brought forth Scheherazade and displayed her for the first dress. What is going on here? What on earth is going on here? Dear Goddess. I think it's... No, that was ages ago. Alright, my friend Jackie's been messaging me, but that was an old message again. The phone's going off to old messages. There is a jinn in my iPhone, a genie. We'll have to exorcise it, won't we, babies? No genies allowed in my iPhones or messing with my technology because it's crazy making. Anyway, presently they brought forward Scheherazade and displayed her for the first dress in a red suit, whereupon King Shahryar rose to look upon her, and the wits of all present, men and women, were bewitched, for that she was even, as saith of her one of her describers, a sun on wand and knoll of sand she showed. What? A knoll of sand, it would be a sand dune, but a wand, a sun on wand, on a sand dune she showed. Guess she had to be there. Clad in her, oh dear Goddess, clad in her cramoisy hued chemisette, cramoisy hued. Oh gosh, we've got it. I've got to know what cramoisy. I've never heard such a word. Let's have a look. See if we can find out. Cramoisy. How's it spelled again? Where are we? Alright. Cramoisy hyphen hued. Oh, it's enough to give a woman a nervous breakdown. This is why I don't hold down jobs people ever. It's just too crazy making. Cramoisy, a hard, round, blackish Ascomycetes fungus, Deldinia concentrica, characteristically found on the bark of ash trees and formerly carried to ward off cramp. Oh, that can't be right. A crimson colour and a crimson cloth. From Old French, Khwamazi, from Arabic, Kiamizi. Red obtained from Kermes. Alright, I guess it's crimson, but what? So the fungus of the ash is clearly a crimson coloured. Well, that's interesting. I've never seen ash fungus though. I don't even know what an ash tree looks like actually. I've probably seen one. Anyway. Dear Goddess. Of her lips, honey dew she gave me drink. Sounds a bit semi-erotic, doesn't it? No one's drunk from these lips in a long, long time. Helps to be an old crone sometimes. Hold them all at bay. Also, I save my kisses for a man who absolutely adores me. Not wasting my energies on fuck knuckles and numbnuts and predators and sadists and sadomasochists and perverts and dominators that think they're going to dominate me. Have good luck with that, motherfuckers. That won't last longer than 5 minutes because I'll get very bored and annoyed with that. What was the last lover I had many years ago? Oh yes, then there was Rubber Band Man. That was, oh wow. He had potential, that one. He had potential, but he was a recovering alcoholic and a borderline, and I suspect had bipolar as well. He was not capable of being with a woman, really. It was actually rude of him to even dare to make love with me because he had no intention of following through. It's just rude, pig ignorant, and did I mention him? Rude. But anyway, but I had that back in the day. It's why I gave up on my sexuality. Had to survive these fucking creeps. And it doesn't mean the creeps stop coming. I had a woman creep on Friday night. Can you believe it? A woman. A fucking woman. So, it's probably why, that and then losing Charlie, 2 days later was a day. A day and a morning later was a bit much. A bit rattled and rolled. I'll be alright. I'm alright. I can handle this life. Survived it almost 60 years. Can you believe I'll be 60 in April? The shit I have survived? By the gods. It's astonishing. It's mind-blowing. It'll blow most people's head back while I've survived. That's why I've got no tolerance for idiots at all. I'm just like, oh, you go away with you. Precious, fucking pretentious, elitist, spoilt white privilege little precious little lies. Then you think you're going to come and try and fuck me over. Where's my bells? Where's my bell? We're going to clear space. We're going to clear space. Get rid of all the negativity, all the seedy, inept, disingenuous, ungenerous men and women who didn't ever have my back. Look at this. I brought it out because I'm going to get it framed. Jared made this for me last year sometime. I think it was June or July. Well, there she is in all her glory, my little Charlie. It's actually a photo of Charlie, but he's done her up as a very opulent looking girl she is there. She used to be a showgirl, but now she's an artiste. My little baby. So I'm going to get it framed and put her next to Beauregard because they were good buddies and pals and they belong together, those two. Who belongs with me, though? Why did the gods take away all my pets and all my real, authentic loves and send me nothing but shits instead? Why? Why is it like this? I don't know. I told my cleaning lady, Rati, that Sacred Space is a house of death and has taken multiple pets from me. Apart from the 2 little goldfish out the front, they're the last ones because they're fairly new and this house will claim me next. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. I'm not going to survive and I'm the last resident of 44 Diamond Street, Holland Park, Sacred Space. I'm going to die in this house. Well, I actually have died in this house, briefly. I did die here briefly, but the gods vomited me back to earth. So let's not be too freakishly melodramatic about it, because I've died and I've come back, and I've died and I've come back. Came back from the suicide attempt. I came back from the gallbladder. I came back from that choking on fucking my own CO2 with the mask on the night of the 10th, 11th of July. I came back from 3 near deaths at the end of 2019. I've come back and I've come back and I've come back. I've bounced back from more things you can poke a stick at, even in early childhood. So I just want my beautiful life and I want it now. I don't want to wait anymore. I've waited eons and it's not greedy and it's not unreasonable. It isn't. It's just what the gods decree. The gods decree. So, on that note, I mustn't get maudlin and freak out because I have the power to create. Still, even at this late stage of my life, my beautiful, loving, passionate, romantic life, I just don't want to end up making any more mistakes or being played for a fool by anyone ever again. It's been too much. My mind probably will eventually crack from it. This should continue ad nauseum, on repeat, same groove, different day. It is what it is, people of Earth. Right, where were we? With her rosy cheeks quenched fire, she sat. Then they attired Scheherazade in a dress of blue brocade, and she became as she were the full moon when it shineth forth. Who's playing at the Brooklyn Standard tonight? We'll just have a little segue, so I need to know. I should go out. I should just fucking go out. Why am I sitting here waiting to die when I may never die? I may live another 30 years according to my shrink. Why am I sitting here feeling maudlin and distressed when there's music and dance and, just get my ass out there? The Oz tones, I don't know what they're like. Are they good? Are they bad? Alright, tomorrow night is Ramjet, and before that the Mike Beale Band. So I'll save it for tomorrow night. Save it for bands I know I like. Save my energy. Or I'll skip Friday night and I'll save all my energy for the drive down to Jacob's Well and support my friends' alter egos. Or I'll do nothing of the kind and just fucking lay low and avoid death, but have a death-like repose, my zombie repose, and heal from the recent horror of recent weeks. Or I'll keep reading stories to you on YouTube. Anyway, it could go either way. I would have to decide, moment by moment, how I feel about life, babies. It is what it is. I don't have anyone to take real care for me, or I've had a wonderful support from my beautiful friends, don't get me wrong, but I've got no one physically here with me to say, I'm here for you, Tanya. Let's hang out together, let's do things together, and let's just hold space for it. There's no one. So they displayed her in this for the first dress before King Shah Zaman, who rejoiced in her and well nigh swooned away for love-longing and amorous desire. Yea, he was distraught with passion for her, whenas he saw her, because she was, as saith of her one of her describers in these couplets, she comes apparelled in an azure vest, ultramarine skies are decked and dight. I viewed the unparalleled sight, which showed my eyes a summer moon upon a winter night. Then they returned to Scheherazade and displayed her in the second dress, a suit of surpassing goodliness, and veiled her face with her hair like a chin veil. I don't know what a chin veil is. You have to laugh. Moreover, should I Google it? Let's Google it. This story's nearly over. We can Google a bit more. We can Google till I finally die. Then you'll say, who was the Tanya, the queen of the Google? Where are we? Chin Vale. Let's have a look. They might have photos. Sometimes they put photos up. No, that's not it. Just normal veils. I don't think that's it. Chin length veil. Oh, maybe that's what they meant. Chin veil. Chin length veil. I used to love, when I was a teenager, to wear fabulous hats with veils. I looked like a 40-year-old courtesan. Quite comical, actually. Anyway, that was my teenage rebellion. I know. It must have been a past life memory. I don't know what all that was about, actually. It was all quite mad. And my mother, who used me as a little extension of her narcissism, dressing me up in very fancy type dresses, was weird too. Anyway. Then they returned to Scheherazade. Oh no, sorry. We'll go back. Where was the chin veil? I read about the chin veil. Oh, here we go. Moreover, they let down her side locks. Side locks. I'm thinking ultra-orthodox men who have, peyote here, but I don't think they mean peyote. Side locks. Anyway, and she was even, as saith of her one of her describers in these couplets. It's starting to really freak me out. This is near the end of this long, 1001 Arabian Nights. I hope you enjoy these videos because I'll never fucking read this again as long as I live. It's been arduous. It's been hard work for me. It's been a struggle. Can you tell? Anyway. Oh, hail to him whose locks his cheeks o'ershade, who slew my life by cruel hard despite. Said I, hast veiled the morn and night? He said, nay, I but veil moon in hue of night. Then they displayed Scheherazade in a second and a third and a fourth dress, and she paced forward like a rising sun, the rising sun, and swayed to and fro in the insolence of beauty. And she was even, as saith the poet of her in these couplets, the sun of beauty, she to all appears, and lovely coy, she mocks all loveliness. And when he fronts her favour and her smile, a morn, the sun of day in clouds must dress. I'm going to take a lover soon. I've decided. I'm going to do it just out of sheer fucking spite. Shall I? All the women in YouTube went, no, don't do it, Tanya. And all the men went, yay, pick me. Yes, I get like this. It's not actually about sex, it's about chi and life force and vitality and revenge on all that darkness that would have me lie fallow and slowly die. But it's dangerous. It's very dangerous for me to practice my full female sexuality. It almost caused my death a few times. So no, I'm going to calm my farm. I might even have a nice cup of tea in a minute, watch a movie and go to bed early, I think. Settle my nervous system. Settle my nervous system. As no man shall gain access to my, unless his love is true and powerful and honouring and sweet. Then it really will be on big boys and big girls, but shh, I don't know if it's even possible to find such a man. So here we go. Then she displayed, I'm perfectly serious by the way, then she displayed Scheherazade in the third dress, and the fourth and the fifth, and she became as she were a ban-branch snell, or a thirsting gazelle, lovely of face and perfect in attributes of grace, even as saith of her one in these couplets. A man who doesn't play games would be nice. A man who takes me out would be nice. A man who doesn't think taking me to McDonald's for Valentine's Day is a great boon to me would be nice. A man who doesn't bake banana bread in his bread machine and give me the butt end and think that that's a great boon to me too would be nice. A man that doesn't buy a $2 bottle of lemonade and then take it back would be nice. A man who doesn't run away as soon as the birds go tweet tweet at sunrise would be amazingly nice. Staying power and vigour and vitality and where it counts. Am I right, people of Earth? Oh dear goddess, I'm getting myself all titillated about no thing. Shakespearean English means vagina. Anyway. And she became as she were a ban-branch snell or a thirsting gazelle, lovely of face and perfect in attributes of grace, even as saith of her one in these couplets. She comes like fullest moon on happy night, taper of waist with shape of magic might. She hath an eye whose glances quell mankind, and ruby on her cheeks reflects his light, enveils her hips the blackness of her hair. Beware of curls that bite with viper bite. Her sides are silken soft, that while the heart mere rock behind that surface escapes our sight. From the fringed curtains of her eyne she shoots shafts that at furthest range on mark a light. Then they returned to Scheherazade and displayed her in the fifth dress and in the sixth, which was green. I get very annoyed about all those costume changes, just saying. I hate having to get in and out of clothes, especially in a hurry. I'd hate that. Which was green. When she surpassed with her loveliness the fair of the four quarters of the world, and outvied with the brightness of her countenance the full moon at rising tide. For she was even as saith of her the poet in these couplets. A damsel 'twas the tirer's art had decked with snare and sleight, and robed with rays as though the sun from her had borrowed light. He came before us wondrous clad in shimmy zet of green, as veiled by his leafy screen pomegranate hides from sight. And when he said, "How callest thou the fashion of thy dress?" she answered us in pleasant ways with double meaning dight. We call this garment crève cœur, and rightly is it hight, for many a heart with this we break, and harried many a sprite. Then they displayed Scheherazade in the sixth and seventh dresses, and clad her in youth's clothing, whereupon she came forward, swaying from side to side, and coquettishly moving, and indeed she ravished wits and hearts, and ensorcelled all eyes with her glances. Consider yourselves ensorcelled, boys. But it's just a fairy story, you understand. It's not real, so calm your farm. She shook her sides and swayed her haunches, then put her hair on sword hilt. Put her hair on sword hilt? What? I have no idea what that means. And went up to King Scheherazade, who embraced her. We need to find that out. I'm sure it's something filthy, and I'm almost scared to look, but we need to know. Put her hair on sword hilt. Meaning. I mean, I know what a sword hilt is. I want to know what that means. And they're just giving me some random fucking definition from Scrabble. Etymologies, support, examples. And here we have the quote directly from what we just read. She shook her sides and swayed her haunches, then put her hair on sword hilt and went up to King Scheherazade. But they still don't tell us what that actually means. Maybe we have to take it quite literally, that her hair reached down to her short sword hilt. Maybe that's what that means. I got to think. I got to be less concrete. Or maybe I got to be more concrete. Maybe you need to be frozen. You're not frozen when your heart is broken. Turn myself into a pillar of salt and never look back, people of earth. Well, that time's coming, I think. I think I'm almost ready to turn myself into a fucking pillar of salt. But no, there's beautiful men out in the world. There's one with my name on him. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I had this creepy motherfucker turn up once to an outlaw motorcycle type house that I used to, play pool at and drink Jack Daniels at and hang out with the women, the few women that went there. It was fun. Did that for 8 months until they tried to hook me up, literally, with a man who literally had my name tattooed across his chest. He said, "Yeah, I just got out of jail and you're the one." Tanya. Oh yeah, what makes you think that, mate? I said to him. He lifts up his shirt and he had a big block letters, Tanya, right across his belly. I was like, that's not my name. Oh yeah, it is. They told me that's your name. I went, no, that was for some other woman. Some other Tanya. I bet she damaged you severely that you had to tattoo her whole name. How'd you know that, Tanya? I said, I'm a Tanya. I know what we're like. I'm going to beat you at the end of the night. I went, no, you're not, mate. No, you're fucking not. Oh, he was sorely disappointed. Sorely disappointed. So the young guard turned on me after that because I was supposed to, I was just supposed to, have sex with that man to pleasure their ideas. No, I'm not here for that. You've totally misinterpreted my reasons for being here. But your name's tattooed on his chest. What more do you want, Tanya? I want more than a grant that just got out of the jail system, honey. Dear goddess. So you see how I fell into the hole and said my name has to be on him. I meant, spiritually speaking, has to be by mutual consent, mutual attraction, mutual agreement, mutuality, true, passionate, romantic, loyal, faithful love, and no tattoos need to be involved on anyone's chest, just saying. Because actually that was kind of creepy as fuck, to be honest, but I saw the funny side of it. Very fucking funny. Anyway, it's how I got to have my tattoo, because the president loved me so much. He said, you've always wanted a tattoo, haven't you, Tanya? I said, yes, I have. I've been waiting for a tattoo for 12 years. He said, my tattooist will give you 50% off. Okay, that's a good arrangement. So I got my tattoo. But it needs recolouring now. It's all faded out. It's been 12 years, it needs to be redone. Almost 13 years, 12 and a half years it's been. Needs recolouring, people there. Where am I going to get the money for that? Just have to handle it, won't I? My faded out tattoo. Delta Dawn, what's that flower you have on? Could it be a faded rose from days gone by? And did I hear you say he was a meeting you here today to take you to that castle in the sky? Memories, faded memories from days gone by. It's time to make new memories, isn't it, babies? The man who's not intimidated by me and is genuine and authentic and beautiful in every single way. Why not? It could happen in my fairy story world. Right. So she's put her hair on sword hilt. She's gone up to King Scheherazade, who embraced her as a hospitable host embraceth a guest, and threatened her in her ear with the taking of the sword. And she was even as saith of her the poet in these words: were not the murk of gender male than feminine surpassing fair, tire women they had grudged the bride, who made her beard and whiskers wear. What? Were not the murk of gender male than feminine surpassing fair. She's in drag? I don't get that. It sounds like someone's in drag. The story's getting wilder and wilder, interspersed with my own true stories in the middle, which are pretty wild. Gift that keeps giving. I'll be watching this. when I'm old and grey going, ah, I can't believe you told YouTube that time. Have you no shame? No, I have no shame. I've lived my life triumphantly and freely and wildly and honouringly, believe it or not. Well, there were a few occasions that weren't quite so honourable, but they were liars and misfits, so it wasn't my fault. But anyway, forget about that. We shall forget about that. Thus also they did with her sister Dunyazad, and when they had made an end of the display, the king bestowed robes of honour on all who were present, and sent the brides to their own apartments. Then Scheherazade went in to King Shahryar and Dunyazad to King Shah Zaman, and each of them solaced himself with the company of his beloved consort, and the hearts of the folk were comforted. Dear goddess. Cocoon's taking a walk around the block, but it's not funny because I'm their age, so obviously when I walk around the block I look like Cocoon now, but I don't walk with them. I walk alone. I look like Cocoon, an old crone walking alone. What's that song my beautiful alter egos play? I walk alone, da 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 da, down the streets of... Oh, I can't even think how it goes. Jesus. I walk alone. They always play it and they always look at me because they know I'm a lone wolf and I walk alone. Dance alone, fight alone, exist alone, breathe alone. One day I'll no longer be alone. That will really freak them out, won't it? If I walk in with a gorgeous man and go, I'm not alone anymore. What are you going to do now? Go, friends. Hopefully they'll be happy for me. It's been a long time. It's been a lone thing. But I had to do it to survive. Survival, people of Earth. As long as they don't keep trying to matchmake me with their family members or their co-workers, because still not happy about that. My beautiful Kylie, my hairdresser, she said, but that was really kind of sweet how much they love you though, Tanya, that they even wanted you to hook up with their father. I said, they really wanted you to be their mummy. I went, I'm already their mummy, a mama tea. How much mummying do they want? My own fucking children reject me, like, hello. She laughed too. She said, but they really wanted you to be like their mum. It would never have worked out, people of Earth. It would not have worked out. Poor lads. But I love that one that wanted me to be his mummy. I'm his shaman, actually. We've got to stick to our appointed roles. Hold the line, people of Earth. Hold the fucking line. Oh, dear goddess. It's cute. Anyway. I've got to think of that song. How does it go? Let me get it up. Let me get it up. I'm all over the shit show today, can you tell? How does it go? I walk alone. Something about the boulevard of broken dreams. Green Day. Here we go. Now that's a different song. Where is it? That might actually be the title, is it? I'll know if it's not right. Empty streets A boulevard of broken dreams, psychedelic dreamer screams into the void that no one sees. Alone, I walk alone. Walk alone, I walk alone. My shadow's the only one that walks beside me. My shallows, that's the only thing that's beating. Sometimes I wish someone out there will find me. Till then I walk alone. Okay, I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore, people of Earth. It's not a bad version, actually, it's quite sweet. Till then I walk alone. But I'm never alone. Oh, the irony. I'm only alone in the human construct. Spirits around me all the time, trying to talk to me. I usually tell them to naff off. I'm in the middle of a video. It's not appropriate. Anyway, where were we, people of Earth? Right. When morning morrowed, the Wazir came in to the two kings and kissed ground before them, wherefore they thanked him and were large of bounty to him. Presently they went forth and sat down upon couches of kingship, whilst all the wazirs and emirs and grandees and lords of the land presented themselves and kissed ground. King Shahryar ordered them dresses of honour and largesse, and they prayed for the permanence and prosperity of the king and his brother. Then the two sovereigns appointed their sire-in-law, the Wazir, to be viceroy in Samarkand and assigned him 5 of the chief emirs to accompany him, charging them attend him and do him service. The minister kissed the ground and prayed that they might be vouchsafed length of life. Then he went in to his daughters, whilst the eunuchs and ushers walked before him, and saluted them and farewelled them. They kissed his hands and gave him joy of the kingship, and bestowed on him immense treasures, after which he took leave of them, and setting out fared days and nights, till he came near Samarkand, where the townspeople met him at a distance of 3 marches. Sorry, I'm about to lose my shit. Sorry, I don't know. Just randomly, boom, here it comes. Whew. It's okay. Met him at a distance of 3 marches, and rejoiced in him with exceeding joy. So he entered the city, and they decorated the houses, and it was a notable day. He sat down on the throne of his kingship, and the wazirs did him homage, and the grandees and emirs of Samarkand, and all prayed that he might be vouchsafed justice and victory and length of continuance. So he bestowed on them robes of honour and entreated them with distinction, and they made him sultan over them. As soon as his father-in-law had departed for Samarkand, King Shahyar summoned the grandees of his realm and made them a stupendous banquet of all manner of delicious meats and exquisite sweetmeats. He also bestowed on them robes of honour and guerdoned them, and divided the kingdoms between himself and his brother in their presence, whereat the folk rejoiced. Then the two kings abode, each ruling a day in turn, and they were ever in harmony each with other, while on similar wise their wives continued in the love of Allah Almighty and in thanksgiving to Him. And the peoples and the provinces were at peace, and the preachers prayed for them from the pulpits. And their report was bruited abroad, and the travellers bore tidings of them to all lands. In due time, King Shahyar summoned chroniclers and copyists, and bade them write all that had betided him with his wife, first and last. So he wrote this, and named it The Arabian Nights and a Night. The book came to 30 volumes, and these the king laid up in his treasury, and the two brothers abode with their wives in all pleasance and solace of life and its delights. For that, indeed, Allah the Most High had changed their annoy into joy. And on this wise they continued till there took them the destroyer of delights and the severer of societies, the desolator of dwelling places, and garnerer of graveyards. And they were translated to the ruth of Almighty Allah. Their homes fell waste, and their palaces lay in ruins, and the kings inherited their riches. Then there reigned after them a wise ruler, who was just, keen-witted and accomplished, and loved tales and legends, especially those which chronicle the doings of sovereigns and sultans. And he found in the treasury these marvellous stories and wondrous histories, contained in the 30 volumes aforesaid. So he read in them a first book, and a second, and a third, and so on to the last of them. And each book astounded and delighted him more than that which preceded it, till he came to the end of them. Then he admired whatso he had read therein of description and discourse, and rare traits and anecdotes, and moral instances and reminiscences, and bade the folk copy them and dispread them over all lands and climes. Wherefore their report was bruited about abroad, and the people named them the marvels and wonders of the Arabian Nights. This is all that hath come down to us of the origin of this book, and Allah is all-knowing. So glory be to Him, whom the shifts of time waste not away, nor doth aught of chance or change affect His sway, whom one case diverteth not from another case, and who is sole in the attributes of perfect grace. And prayer and peace be upon the Lord's pontiff and chosen one among his creatures, our Lord Muhammad, the Prince of mankind, through whom we supplicate him for a goodly and a godly fini. End. The end. Now I just want to read about, it says here at the back, about the translator who was slipped in quite a bit of sexual analogy throughout these stories. He was a little bit of a earthy, risque kind of bloke. Richard Francis Burton. I don't think he's to be confused with, Richard Burton, the husband of Elizabeth Taylor. Richard Francis Burton was born in England in 1821, it's a very long time ago, and spent much of his childhood in France and Italy. Nice. In 1842, when he was only 21, he accepted a commission with the Bombay Army and under the auspices of the East India Company worked as a surveyor and intelligence officer in India until 1850. So he was there for 8 years. Yes. Fluent in numerous Eastern languages. He disguised himself as an Afghani in 1853 to travel through Medina, Mecca, and other sacred sites forbidden to non-Muslims. Inquisitive by nature. He also undertook expeditions to Ethiopia and Somaliland, and the books he wrote about his travels, including Personal Narrative of a Pilgrimage to Al-Medina and Mecca, 1855 to 1856, and Footsteps in East Africa, 1856, were considered groundbreaking introductions to Islamic culture for Western readers. In The Lake Regions of Central Africa, 1860, Burton chronicled his 2-year search with explorer John Speke to find the source of the Nile, during which they discovered Lake Tanganyika. Burton began translating the collection of Eastern folk tales known as 1001 Nights or the Arabian Nights in the 1850s. It was published in 16 volumes beginning in 1884 and supplemented with additional stories in 1886. The same year, Burton received a knighthood. Long regarded a seminal work of world literature, Burton's translation has never been out of print. Burton wrote many other travelogues and cultural studies before his death, 1890. I won't read about the artists that contribute. I'll read their names, but I won't read about the minutiae. Rene Bull, 1872 to 1942. So he was 70 when he died. And Alfred W. Cooper, birth date unknown, died in 1901. Well, we have concluded the Scheherazade, the 1001 Nights. It's been wild, It's been crazy, it's been a journey, it's been everything. Look how beautifully illustrated it all is there. And there was some very bad editing in it, which I had to, accept and overcome. But, it is what it is, people. So, I think that's enough for today. We've read, I've got emotional, I've segued, I've tried to work things out in my mind, and which goes nowhere because I keep choosing love, and it's a bit mad, people of Earth, even by my standards, but these things have a way of just evaporating like mist eventually, and if they don't, then Mama T will have to be chosen, won't she? If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. In the meantime, I enjoy my wonderful friendships and the people that surround me with sweetness and kindness. So that's far more valuable than any sexual liaison I might have with anyone in the future or in the past. Certainly, none of the past ones were worthy of me, quite frankly, with the awfulness that they put me through. So, sun is shining, and it's still very hot. 29 degrees at 5:53 p.m. So on that note, I bid you adieu. I'll be back tomorrow with a different book and different stories, and see what else I can come up with. See what hat trick I can pull, what rabbit out of which hat. So, love to you all. Remember to never ever let the bastards grind you down, and the Tanya is forging ahead with her life, one day at a time, one moment at a time, as she's always done, and who knows what the future holds for her. Bye for now.